I've had agents just come in and they say, this blew me away. I never expected to be able to run my business as smoothly and as efficiently as I can in this one portal.
There's been a little bit of a stir in Rhode Island and Connecticut over the past few months. What's going on, everybody? We got a massive call on the closer today. I'm with my good friend, long-standing relationship, Justin Mandese.
What's up, brother?
What's happening, brother? He is the new broker of Real in Rhode Island. So, Justin and I have a huge background together. We met probably somewhere around 2008, 2009 in real estate. Back in the day of Mr. Guy Glennon, little shout out. We got to get him in there.
Of course.
We were just off talking about him a little while ago. So Justin, you are the designated broker for Real in Rhode Island and Connecticut.
Yep.
So how did this happen? Because, you and I, we talked about responsibility the other day. We had our little phone call and we were talking about hey man, you finally stepped up. So what was that like? Why did you decide to take those bulls by the horns and basically start this?
Great question. I just recognized such an opportunity for Real as a brokerage to grow in New England. And as you know, I'm always excited to bring a new thing to the table. We had a large team when I was first in the business. And, for me, I always knew that Real could offer me some significant financial opportunities outside of just selling houses. And now that I'm in established position to help others do that, I think that's why we're getting some great notoriety locally because people see that it's not just about the now, it's about the future.
Yeah. So for the people out there that are obviously going to be watching this, and there's been a little bit of a stir in Rhode Island and Connecticut over the past few months. Disruptor, we'll say that, but which is a good thing. Change is good, right? I always say that change is more than just a jingle in your pocket.
Absolutely.
So tell us a little bit about Real for the agent out there that's maybe thinking about coming and talking to you, or the agents that are they're looking in, seeing what's happening from 30,000 feet. What is Real?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, basically Real is designed to be a tech-first company that allows you to sell more houses and keep more money. I mean, at the end of the day, that's what every agent wants, right?
Right.
Sell more houses, keep more money. Okay, you got me there. But like I mentioned, it's more about the future too, and what building a wealth program for yourself can look like, and taking care of your family 10 years from now, and achieving goals then when you maybe decide to not sell houses anymore and you want to take your career into something else, whether it's flipping or investing or whatever it is. That's the beauty of real estate, right? You can do so many things. So what we are able to do is essentially give you that track with some other revenue generating options to help you gain enough money so that you can do those things in the future, even when you decide to start selling less houses. Yeah. I don't want to be out here as an old man shucking houses. I just decided this is not for me.
Right. Good thing you're still young.
We're getting there. We're getting there.
I know.
But ultimately, this model allows you to either sell more and keep more now, and also build for the future. And I think a lot of people are starting to recognize that.
So let's talk about the model. Because, there's some similarities to some old school models in there, I would imagine.
Absolutely.
And there's also this fast tracking new way of thinking. And you hit on something like technology. Mm-hmm. I know that from a title standard or standpoint, we are always evolving right now. Our software is changing. The way we communicate with people are changing. And you take the baby boomers, for instance, technology wasn't their thing. Mm-hmm. So you've got the older agents or the older clients that we're selling houses with or buying, and they are adapting a little. I know my mom, she's like, oh, I'm on Facebook now, she's and sending pictures of the kids and all that stuff like that. And she loves it. So tell me a little bit about the model, how that differs from some of the old school traditions that have started that probably helped get to this point.
Absolutely.
And how that's different from what other companies are doing.
Yeah, so great question. So, the way that I look at the technology is there's been tons of real estate brokerages that have invested millions and millions of dollars into technology. But here's the difference. They were real estate companies investing in tech. I truly believe Real is a tech company that invests in real estate. It's the opposite. And when you start with tech first, everything we do is about leverage. right? Leverage has been such a key word over the last 10 years in real estate, right? You have to leverage your business. That's why the movement towards teams and everything, because you're leveraging what we do on a daily basis. I believe that investments in technology have leveraged now this company to be able to provide such an incredible tech platform designed to make your life easier as an agent and not as cumbersome and not user-friendly as some of the previous real estate brokerages have tried to make it. So it's been huge, and it's constantly, like you said, constantly evolving. We have an incredible AI assistant within our system. I can type into my AI assistant, hey, can you make me a new Instagram post for my new listing? It will literally give you an Instagram post to just put up on.
And you don't have to go outside of the system to do that.
It's unbelievable, right? It's unbelievable. So having the use of all those technologies and constantly evolving it it's a difference maker.
So leverage is one thing, and I'm going to use this new key phrase word that everybody's talking about: value. Show your value. From coaching, I know you've done a lot of coaching, Tom Ferry coach for years. And we always had to show value. And especially now with the laws changed, with buyer commissions changing and things like that. So leverage is one thing. So let's talk about the value of Real.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, like I said, sell more houses, save more money, right? So Real's whole basis of their compensation plan is essentially, we don't want an agent to pay for things that they're not using, right? So many years, brokerages have made money off of agents for, crazy brick and mortar office space, an office manager, an office accountant, an office secretary, a middle manager, a regional manager. Who cares? If you're selling houses, you don't need all that behind you. Right? You just need the tools and technology you need to do your business and to go make presentations to your clients. So what Real has done is basically eliminated all the fat in all those fees that all of those brokerages charge. And they've made it such a bare minimum split that ultimately, their margin is like this big, right? So we need a lot of agents. And that's why we were the #1 growing company in North America last year, because you need that growth. But because their margins are so slim, the agents can reinvest into the things they want to invest in. So if it's marketing or anything else, or just keeping it in their own pocket, agents can enjoy doing that, at this brokerage like that.
So Justin, one of the things that I've always known about you, and actually on my way this morning, talking to my wife, Kim, who also was like, Justin was the best manager I ever had. She loves you to this day as long, right? And so, I know your background, and most people that, if they haven't been in the industry that long, we're going back 15 years now, and it's like, oh, here's this young kid out of Quinnipiac, right? And we're evolving into this. And I know that, you had a good mentor and guy, right?
Absolutely.
And then Tom Ferry coached for all of these years. And then here we are now, we've got this huge platform, so I know one of the things that you love doing is coaching.
Yes.
And so the next step, I'm sure, is how's the recruiting process going? What does that platform look like for anybody out there that's listening again?
Yeah. So we're really, as far as attracting agents to the company, and that's really what we call it, is attraction, because we just want to show what we're doing and the difference we're making in agents' lives. And ultimately, that's how word spreads. Right. So, I've had some longstanding guys with me over here, Albert, Brendan, right? These are my boys, and, we've kind of bonded, but ultimately they saw the value early and were willing to take that jump. But now that the model's really proving itself, the technology's evolved to the point where now it's a seamless, transaction for people. Now is when you start to see people looking and seeing and saying, you know what, I think there could be a better way. And I think one of the biggest problems we've had in New England at growing is, as it's like, well, it's always been done this way, so this is how it's done. Right? But I have really been challenging that notion. And our president, Sharon, has challenged that notion to say, listen, if you're doing something strictly because that's the way it's always been done, well, then you're probably not actually doing it the best way.
It's funny because we're in a time right now, and even in the world where we're challenging, you see a lot of people challenging the way things used to be done. And, it is a new era. It is a new way of doing business.
Absolutely.
There is a new way of looking at things that just aren't traditional. I think keeping traditions is very important. Obviously, when we're taking, a parent role, a coaching role, you still have to have your basics, right? You can't build a house from the top to the foundation. So foundationally, still has that, right? We still have that in Real.
Absolutely.
And then now we're building a different way of life, right?
it's a different way. It's a different way of giving the agents more flexibility and freedom, and ultimately, again, more money. But it's an evolution period. If you look back at the history of brokerage, right? If you look into like the 70s and 80s, and Remax was kind of like the disruptor, right, of the time. And then you look into the 90s and 2000s, Keller Williams was the disruptor of the time, right?
Yeah.
Gary Keller, still I consider the godfather of this, right? Yeah. But now when you see the evolution of these new brokerages, specifically Real, popping up, we are the new disruptor. We are the new era. Right? 20 years from now, there will probably be another disruptor. Right. But for right now, we are capitalizing on the fact that, like you said, challenge the conventional norms, challenge the conventional thoughts. There is a better way, and agents are really taking advantage of that in droves.
And what are you seeing, like when you're sitting down with these agents, right, that are the traditionalists? Because I know it's not just the young group that's coming too. There's a bunch of different, all walks of life. Like you talked about, I'm sure like the Century 21s and the DeFelices and the Caldwell Bankers, like they were the traditionals. Sure. And then all of a sudden Remax, as you talked about, and then Keller Williams. And now you've got a lot of these different types of brokerages, Real, EXP, LPT, a lot of acronyms.
Yes.
So the agents that are coming in, what are they surprised at? What do you think, like the couple of things that you think they're surprised about? They're like, oh my God.
That's a great question. First of all, it's what to expect out of a leader. That's definitely one of the things that I pride myself on. I try to be as absolutely responsive to people as possible, always giving, more. I'm a very service-based person. It's just who I am. You know that for 15 years. Yeah. So I'm always willing to sacrifice myself for the betterment of the people that believe in me and what we're doing here. Yeah. So leadership is definitely something you can clearly expect when you come over to Real. I think the other part of it is really how much easier it is to run your entire business when it's done from a technology platform that is all encompassing. I've had agents just come in and they say, this blew me away. I never expected to be able to run my business as smoothly and as efficiently as I can in this one portal. And then if I need help or leadership or anything else, it's right there behind it. Yeah. That's what's, I think, been so attractive for agents. And now that the word is spreading about what agents are doing here, it just becomes more attractive.
So being a disruptor, and I don't want to say a disruptor because you've been in the industry a long time, but like it's a new look. Yeah. So how do you think the industry is looking at it? Like, from the old school traditionalists or the old school brokerages. I mean, obviously the recruiting trail has been fantastic. Sure. You've brought over a lot of high-end producing, not only just realtors, but leaders, brokerages. And I know that it's like that snowball, right? You've been pushing that snowball up the hill for a while, my
4
friend.
years.
Yeah. And all of a sudden it's like, ooh,
yes.
You know what I mean? And like the snow's sticking.
Yeah.
And now you've got this momentum, and we got a bunch of the guys here today that are going to be, we're going to be talking to as well. But how do you feel like that has been? Are you getting calls like in a weird kind of way from some of these broker owners? Like, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? Like, not from a hateful standpoint, but like, what the F
what
is going
happening?
on?
Yeah. There's a lot of what is happening and how is this happening? But you know what? I'm actually getting a lot of really positive calls in the fact that, number one, I've always tried to maintain really strong relationships locally.
You're good at that.
So I don't, although some folks might not be happy with the rate of attraction that we're doing, I have a lot of support from a lot of the community, which has been great. They recognize the model. They recognize what it is, right? Yeah. Yes, I'm at the helm, but it's really more about what this brokerage can offer agents that's doing more than anything. Yeah. You start to get some haters too, but as you well know, when you start to get the haters, it probably means you're doing something right.
Yeah.
So I'll take it.
So one of the things that I've noticed is, Real was kind of like in the cloud. Originally, if you talk about the 4 years ago, right? Yep. We talk about like, all right, where is Real? It's kind of just in the cloud. No real brick and mortar, no real brokerage to really put your foothold on. And I know some people like that traditional feel of like, oh my God, I've got to go to an office every day. Meanwhile, the offices are completely empty, right? You go to even me, I'm still like an account rep at heart. I'll go to a Remax or a Keller or even like an EXP, like anywhere that I go, there's nobody ever there. Mm-hmm. I go to a Brood Awakenings and like
it's
people,
it's all the realtors are there.
Right. So I know that you've started, like you've incorporated, I know we're going to talk with Matt and we're going to talk with Jeff and we're going to talk with a bunch of the guys. I mean, they were brick and mortar guys, and they still have brick and mortar. Like, so, how do we incorporate partners with that, right? Obviously people come in with their own relationships. We kind of talked about this the other day. And that is also a very important factor of like trying to get people, to take in the partnerships.
Yes. So, I'm at a point in my career where I just want to work with people that are genuinely competent and genuine people. People that don't have other agendas or anything else. It's just like, hey, this is what we do. We try and do it to the best of our ability, and we're going to support each other through true and true. And that really, honestly, it's always been my mentality, but I'm really at that point now. So, I encourage all my agents to really work with someone that's going to be there for us and support us and do the things we want to do. You and I go back again 15 years and we've always been in partnership. It kind of goes up, down, left, right, but it always comes back to like our relationship and our partnership and our trust. And I trust you, you trust me. And I want that to be evident with the partners we choose, because that's going to be a reflection of our brand. And that's so important to me.
Yeah. And that's important too. Obviously we talk about partnerships all the time. I sit down with a bunch of different realtors and loan officers and we have like a wide umbrella, and it's like, we got to get business from a lot of people in order to support a company. And, one of the things I think you're very good at is almost like being the mayor. Because it does come with a lot of different personalities.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's in a testament to like how good you are, believe it or not, of being able to manage personalities and also recruit the right people.
Yeah. Look, there's some political things that come along with being the leader, right?
Yeah, right.
But also,
I even said that to him. I go, "Are you sure you want this, bro? Like, why? After all this time, did you step up? That was the big thing."
I never wanted to be the broker.
Yeah,
I said that, and I wore that on my sleeve for 10 years. Right? I said I never want to be a broker. I never want to do that nonsense. I never want to deal with it. But when I saw this opportunity, and I'm at a different place in my career now.
I was going to say that. Yeah, we all are. Yeah.
But I really felt like a leadership position for me was going to be the right spot, and it is nice to kind of be a little bit more of that CEO level, where I'm able to put things into play. I'm able to execute on certain initiatives. I'm able to support agents, build events, like do the things that just need to be done.
Yeah.
And what I love about this opportunity to do it with Real is because I'm able to do this across state lines. I'm really trying to build Real New England. I'm trying to build and bridge from Connecticut through Massachusetts, because we can grow as a community so much more effectively if we all work together. I think one of the biggest problems with traditional brokerage has been this absolute small, minute mindset that it's my office in my town in my space, and everything is all about that. And then you're duplicating costs. If the big brokerage franchisees would just like co-share and operate out of a central location, it would have changed the game 20 years ago. And I was suggesting that and people thought I was nuts.
Yeah.
But now the way that we're scaled, I can take people from all of New England. I can take people from across the country and integrate them into what we're doing. Yeah. And it's a seamless transition and just plugging into that culture.
That feeling of like, I'm going to take my ball and go home, or I'm going to protect what's mine.
Yeah. I've always been of a bigger mindset, right? Maybe it's the New Yorker in me, right? But it's like, I always say there's a bigger picture to all of this. It's not just about that one guy on that one street in that one town. This is a bigger picture game. And when you're opening up and able to think of the perspective and think bigger, you'll see what's in front of you. And it's so much of a bigger pie than you ever imagined.
So, we obviously have a long-standing relationship, and I expect you to say nice things about me. But, like I usually finish off most of the interviews with like, why Dan Balkun? Like, why Balkun title? Yeah. If you could, help me out with that.
So there's one thing that has stood the test of time with our relationship. You have always been there for me at every step, at every decision, whether it was just running stuff by you, getting your advice, whether it was, hey, you need me to help move stuff? Honestly, you've been in my corner since the second I got in this real estate game till now. And I know and trust you more than anybody else, because we both have been through tough times in the last 15 years. Yeah. And, I tried to be there for you when you were going through hard stuff. Yeah. And it's like, those are the people, those are the true relationships that I care most about. I don't care about the fluff relationships. I don't care. Yeah. Even if it's a short-term opportunistic gain, I don't care about that. Yeah. So the trust and the relationship that we have built through the adversities we've both faced is what makes me so loyal to you and want to work with you.
I appreciate that, man. Well, listen, man, nothing but the best.
Appreciate you, brother.
This
Thank
year,
you so much.
2025.
Let's go.
And beyond. I mean, this guy right here has the ability to grow, coach, mentor, and bring a collaborative effort to a different type of way of looking at this industry. So if you haven't met Justin, if you haven't had a chance to look at what he's done over the years, I would say 100% you got to give him a call or give him a shot.